Every surname we've ever covered on this channel has the same starting problem. An English name, a Scottish name, something a planter owned, and something a family had to carry afterward whether they wanted to or not. We trace it back to a coast, a parish, a plantation, always working backward through someone else's language to find the African story hiding underneath it. Tonight is different. Tonight, 10 names that never went through that translation at all. When enslaved Africans were baptized or registered on Jamaican estates, plantation owners often didn't bother inventing a new name for them. They just wrote down the name the person already had, a word from the Akan language of the Gold Coast, a name that simply meant what day of the week you were born on. Monday, Friday, Sunday, no English filter, no Bible name forced on top of it. The actual African word, spelled out phonetically by a colonial clerk who had no idea what he was actually writing down. Some of those words are still surnames in Jamaica today. Untranslated, unchanged, sitting in plain sight for 250 years. Here's what most people never got told. In the Akan language of what's now Ghana, everyone traditionally received a name based on the day of the week they were born, a practice that predates the slave trade entirely and has nothing to do with it. A boy born on Monday was Cujo. A girl born on Friday was Fibba. These weren't nicknames. They were real names, carried with the same weight any name carries. When the trade forced hundreds of thousands of Akan-speaking people onto ships bound for Jamaica, they carried those names with them. And unlike almost every other piece of African identity the system tried to erase, day names survived the crossing largely intact. Historian Edward Long documented them systematically in 1774, in one of the earliest written records of enslaved life in Jamaica. 2.5 centuries later, a handful of them are still family surnames on the island. Tonight, 10 of them, some you can trace to a specific historical figure. Some, we genuinely need your help confirming, are still out there. Drop your surname and parish below. And if you recognize one of tonight's names anywhere in your family tree, even as a nickname an older relative used, tell us. Several of these names haven't been confirmed as still active in any specific family, and your comment might be the first real evidence we get. Subscribe if this is new to you. New records, new surnames, every week. Quick note before we count down. The pinned comment has our Jamaican Surnames ebook, 100 authentic surnames researched in depth. Check the pinned comment for the full list before you buy anything, and if it's ever helped, picking it up keeps this research going. 10 names. Let's go. Number 10. Juba. In the Akan day name system, Juba was given to a girl born on a Monday. It's one of the oldest of these names on record in Jamaica, appearing in baptismal registers alongside the English name a planter might have insisted on using instead. Some families kept it as a middle name or a private family nickname long after the surname on paper had gone fully English. If Juba shows up anywhere in your family's oral history, not necessarily as the legal surname, but as something an elder called a child, that's this name, still doing exactly what it was designed to do 2 centuries after the crossing. Number 9. Beneba. Beneba, or Abena, marked a girl born on a Tuesday. It's rarer in the surviving record than most of the names we're covering tonight, which makes it valuable in a specific way. A name this uncommon almost never spreads by coincidence. If it's in your family, the thread connecting you to wherever it was first recorded is likely short and direct, not spread thin across dozens of unrelated estates the way a common English surname would be. Number 8. Kubana. Kubana marked a boy born on a Tuesday. The male counterpart to Beneba. Edward Long recorded it as one of the standard day names in use across Jamaican estates in the 1770s. Like several names on tonight's list, we don't have a specific individual attached to it the way we do for the names still to come, which is exactly why we need you. If this is sitting anywhere in your family tree, you'd be helping fill in a gap that the surviving written record simply doesn't answer on its own. Number 7. Mimba. Mimba marked a girl born on a Saturday. Genealogists researching Jamaican records have noted that Mimba sometimes blurred together with the English name Mimi over time. A small, quiet example of exactly the kind of erosion that happened to most of these names, and didn't happen to the ones still ahead on tonight's list. If your family carries a version of this name, even a softened or anglicized-sounding one, it's worth asking whether it started as Mimba. Number 6. Kwamin. Kwamin, or Kwamina, marked a boy born on a Saturday. It's one of the day names most frequently recorded across the wider Caribbean, not just Jamaica specifically. A reminder that the Akan naming system moved with the trade wherever Gold Coast captives were taken, not just to this one island. If Kwamin or a close variant is in your family, the name itself is proof of a naming tradition that stretched across the entire English Caribbean, carried by people who had never met each other but shared the same language before they were ever forced onto a ship. Number 5. Kwaku. Kwaku marked a boy born on a Wednesday. It shows up throughout Jamaican Maroon history as both a personal name and, eventually, a surname passed down through specific family lines connected to Maroon communities. The same communities that Cudjoe and Cuffy, still ahead on tonight's list, helped lead. If your family has any Maroon ancestry at all, particularly from the western parishes, Kwaku is one of the names worth searching for, specifically in Maroon land and treaty records. Number 4. Fibba. Fibba marked a girl born on a Friday, and this is the one with the most fully documented individual life behind it, of anyone on tonight's list who isn't a Maroon leader. A woman named Fibba appears extensively in the diaries of Thomas Thistlewood, a Jamaican overseer whose journals, kept obsessively for decades, are one of the most studied primary sources on enslaved life in 18th century Jamaica. Fibba was enslaved on the same properties Thistlewood managed for over 30 years, and historians have used his own records to reconstruct more of her life in detail than almost any other enslaved woman in Jamaican history. Her work, her relationships, her negotiations for small amounts of autonomy within a system designed to allow her none. Her name was never translated. It's sitting in a diary that still exists today, exactly as it was recorded by the man who enslaved her. Number 3. Kwashi. Kwashi marked a boy born on a Sunday, and unlike several names on tonight's list, this one has a confirmed modern footprint. Genealogical records list it as an active Jamaican surname carried by real families today, not just a historical curiosity in an 18th century register. Over time, Kwashi also drifted into general use across the Caribbean and the American South as a generic term for an enslaved man. A painful example of how a specific person's actual name could be stripped of its individuality and turned into a category. But the surname itself survived that too. If you carry it, you're carrying a word that outlasted its own misuse. Number 2. Cuffy. Cuffy marked a boy born on a Friday, and one Cuffy in particular has a documented place in Jamaican history that goes well beyond a baptismal register. In 1798, a man named Cuffy escaped a plantation run by James McGee and led a community of self-liberated Africans into the forested interior of Cockpit Country, conducting raids against British-owned estates during the period of the Second Maroon War. Colonial planters at the time reported that the damage Cuffy's community inflicted was worse than anything they'd suffered during the war itself. He didn't just keep his name, he turned it into something the entire western half of the island had to reckon with. Number 1. Cudjo. Cudjo marked a boy born on a Monday, and it belongs to the single most significant Maroon leader in Jamaican history. Captain Cudjo led the leeward Maroons for decades, fighting the British to a standstill until the Crown was forced to sign the Treaty of 1739, recognizing Maroon freedom and self-governance rather than continuing a war it couldn't win. He founded Cudjo's town in Trelawney, and to this day, the first Monday of every January is celebrated in Jamaica as Cudjo Day. His name never went through an English filter. It didn't need to. It won its own permanence the same way he won his freedom, directly and on his own terms. If you carry this surname, you're carrying the name of a man the entire British Empire eventually had to negotiate with, exactly as his own language recorded it, unchanged for 250 years. Here's what's different about tonight's list. Every other video on this channel works backward. An English name, a guess, a parish, a probability. Tonight worked forward instead. These 10 names never stopped being what they always were. They survived the ship, survived the estate, survived 2.5 centuries of a system built to erase exactly this kind of continuity. And some of them are still sitting in Jamaican family trees today, doing precisely what an Akan mother or father intended the day they were first spoken. Drop your surname and parish below, especially if tonight's list is the first time you're hearing one of these names, because that gap in the record is exactly what your comment can help close. And if the ebooks ever helped, it's linked in the pinned comment, full list included, so you can check before you buy. Most of what this system took, it took for good. These 10 names are proof that it didn't get everything,